Kristin, what about you? Talk about something badass that you did this last year.
I can't follow that. I felt like...
Say,
right? I mean... Okay, last week. I drank the milk the day after. No, I don't actually drink milk, but I thought committing to that Walmart sweatsuit was pretty intimidating.
Anna, how about you?
Gosh, I'm not badass or funny. I don't know what. I do. I've been in Hawaii for a holiday and I've been surfing with the staff. That's gross, not badass.
They have sharks there.
They have sharks there. I'm Australian. I'm not scared of spiders.
All right, something serious now. Okay, when Josh Whedon tried in vain to write a Wonder Woman movie, he said in 2010 that it failed because, quote, she's a girl. Hollywood is still twitchy about that. Do you think moods are changing thanks to the success of Dragon with Tattoo and the Hunger Games? How about yours?
You know, it's so hard to say because you kind of need to compare it to what it feels like being a guy or, you know, what it felt like before, because my experience is so limited to my experience. So from my experience playing Pam, I'm like, oh, it's totally different. We're in a whole new world, you know, because I'm on this show where they, you know, make women really tough and badass. And I spent the first part of my career with nobody believing that I could be smart or tough. Haha. And so it feels to me as if it is changing, but I also feel like it's really important for us to, if we can, create our own projects and do as much as we can to be proactive in that area, what we'd want to see, to try in our own way to create that.
Do you think biases still exist in Hollywood, that men won't come to see movies or watch television shows that had strong female leads? Do you think there's still studio sets that feel that way?
I'm sure there are, but you know, there's that show on HBO, Girls, and she's not, it's so great. She's not, you know, it's so great. I love Angelina Jolie, and she's amazing, and that role in Salt was written for a guy. So you see all those, you know, you hear those stories, but then there's Girls. You know, she's just such the not stereotypical lead, and she's wrote and produced it and starring in it. So it's definitely that if you create the opportunity, there may be, you know, resistance in some areas, but there is to everything. There was resistance to the light bulb, you know. So I think the world just resists things. There's resistance to better environmental practices. There's just the status quo, but it can be with a good product.
Have you noticed how many older women are now reigning in television?
Yes.
I'm loving this. It's awesome to see those women kicking ass, you know, and they might be Sigourney Weaver who paved the way for all of us to be there.
I gotta ask you guys, what is the worst costume that you've ever been asked to wear?
I think.
Yes?
It's just so funny being on True Blood because I'm the most dressed person, you know. The men are never wearing clothing. It's totally awesome. And my clothing is so uncomfortable and painful, and I just love it so much. And we probably jumped the shark last season on what Pam is wearing, and we have no idea where the line is. We keep imagining there's a line we're crossing, and then we put this hysterical outfit together, and then we go, I guess there is no line. It's like rubber and corset and bondage, and we're like, looks good. But, yeah, so it's just like, I don't know, I kind of look at naked people all day, and my feet always hurt, and I can really breathe. I'm kind of having a blast.
What about you, Lucy? You wore the finale from last season? Yes.
Oh, I don't know. I've been in the legal system for the last 8 months. I missed everything, but I think I think it was a really spectacular way for my character to go out. If you don't know, my character did this terrible thing. She was sort of incubating a baby inside her best friend, and then at the time that it was ready to go, she cut it out, jumped off a cliff with the baby to take it back to her husband, right, to the afterlife. It was an Don't clap, it's despicable. What's wrong with you people? Anyway. I thought it was, in a way, going off that cliff was my homage to the High Priestess of all, Sigourney Weaver in Aliens 3. Remember that she went to the flames? I don't think Newt was with her, right? She wasn't holding a baby, right? Nah, Aliens 3, nah, different. Anyway, yeah. What was the question?
Kristin, what about you? It seems like there's always been so much more to Pam than just being this incredibly,
Apart from a great name.
We're going to see, it seems like we're definitely seeing those additional layers this year, right?
Yeah, every year I've gotten another little piece of the puzzle, you know, it's sort of become a 3D character now for me. And this year was a big piece of the puzzle with my relationship to my maker. And, yeah. Right? And it was really fun. You know, I waited 5 years and I've been asking the producers, like, what's the relationship and when was I made? And they never tell us. And so I've had so much fun this year. Every year I have fun, but this is a new, it's always challenging on this show.
But I think this year, with the absence of the alternate universe now, I'm interested to see where. I know this is.
I love this conversation. This one.
I love your character. I do. What am I saying?
Alternate universe.
I think that Olivia will then be. I don't know. I think I'll be able to put a little bit more into her and sort of not be so concerned about keeping them separate.
Hello. Yes. First off, thank you very much, all of you, for being such great role models for the up-and-coming generation of women. My question is for the whole panel. As women in the entertainment industry, are there other women whose work you really enjoy? Producers, writers, other actresses?
Everybody here.
Yeah. Action idols. Do you have an action idol?
Sigourney Weaver is
To get beyond Sigourney.
This is pretty incredible, but it is really amazing and inspiring to watch. The men too, you know, it's just, there are these great performances, and sometimes they're small, sometimes you're flipping through something at 3 in the morning, you're like, what is this? You know, I never saw this movie. And it's so great to see people doing what we're doing. For me, it's really, I mean, Robert Duvall, really, Ed Harris, I've got these people that I don't watch. Oh, right. Okay, Patricia Arquette. I mean, for some reason I could watch her read the paper. You know, there's so many great actresses, and
Holly Hunter, Elizabeth Moss, well, yeah, they're not in this genre, but
right.
they're amazing women.
Yeah,
Kate
when you
Blanchett.
talk about that.
She's got such a...
Because of that line.
Hi, my question is for Kristin. Huge fan of Pam, loved her since the beginning. And as you said, that you have not really had to be as naked as the other humans on the show. Well, or vampires. Is that something that you are happy about, or do you look forward to the day when you can, like, unzip the leather? Or how do you feel about that?
You know, if I have 3 months warning, or at least a month where I can go to the gym a lot more, I'm fine with it. But, you know, I can't have a spray tan. That's one of the other things that made me feel okay about being naked in the past. But it's really all vanity in my head about being nude. I had the scene with Alex in bed, and this year, and it just said in the script, you know, I'm in bed, I get out of bed, I put on my robe, and I thought, oh, okay, like that's not going to be huge, you know, nudity. And I could have a spray tan. It was my human story. And I was telling my husband, you know, I feel pretty good about being naked in front of Alex because he loves me, and he, you know, isn't going to critique my physique, but the crew. And my husband had this blank expression, and I thought, uh-oh, I shouldn't have said I'm comfortable with Alex seeing me naked. And I kept saying, well, what are you thinking? And he finally said, the 12 million people who watch the show. And I realized that it was, you know, we shoot 6 months ahead of airing, so I feel like we do the show for our buddies. So, you know, I was like, oh, God, and then I really got in the gym, but nothing ended up showing. So it hasn't been my choice either way. And every year I keep thinking, oh man, my numbers gotta come up one of these days. But they're great, you know, and we're all much healthier for being on the show. We all work out a lot more. We eat a lot more vegetables, so it's added years to my life, I'm sure. It's interesting because it, you know, becomes a discussion, and there's some, you know, these are huge topics. You know, Lucy and I do a lot of rights for environment, and I do animals and refugee, and so I just keep, one of the things that I keep saying in life is that there's rights issues are so local to that species and to that person and that income bracket and that upbringing, and so there really isn't one answer for everybody, but I just always want to inspire people, and here we're inspiring women, sorry men, but we're inspiring you too, to whatever your passion is, if it's women's rights in this country or another country, or mine is the African elephant this year, just to be curious, find some time in your day to actually vote with your dollars, support and believe in, and just kick it up a notch, care a little more, because in our lives when we see that in women around us, and we can have discussions like this, and a panel like this, and shows like this, it all contributes and leads to a tipping point. So art and life have that symbiotic relationship. So just whatever you're interested in, Earth needs all of your passions. But if it's knitting, it doesn't matter. Just, you know, do it.
Go online. You can vote online. It's really effective.
Petitions. There's, you know, every person matters, and your viewpoint matters.
You're no longer powerless, actually. That's
right.
The good news. You are no longer powerless.
That's right.
Thanks to the sci-fi community for being so good to us, to women. And
well, there was, and it's just an auditioning thing, that I'm no good at auditioning for this role, and then I realized, well, then again, I'm kind of playing that role. So I got confused, but you know, after Basic Instinct, there became this character, this woman who just wants to have sex and kill people. And I thought that was the oddest combination, and the writing was sort of written that way, like, you know, this sort of Black Widow sort of thing, and I was always horrible at the auditions, and I just got so frustrated. I'm like, who are these people? Like, who created this, and who are these women that I don't think they even exist, you know? And then I'm like, I guess that's Pam, though. So, but yeah, I don't want to audition for that. It's when it's written in the cliche way. I guess Pam is just written better.